Okay, today we are playing a game on Oasis. We are playing Roadhog, D.Va and Reinhardt in that order, and the average SR of this game was 2,319. In the accompanying email, it says, just a game that generally went poorly. I've started picking D.Va as a check to pharmacy as opposed to Reinhardt or Roadhog. Could you tell me more if this is a good idea and how best to execute it? This is perhaps not the best video to ask the question since I'm only D.Va for one round, but I'll probably ask it again later with a better VOD. So, yes, D.Va is better against Pharah than Roadhog or Reinhardt. In the current meta, D.Va might just be the best tank out of all three of them to pick in general. Reinhardt has been struggling lately after some changes, but that aside, this isn't a great game to talk about it, but the basic idea is just harass the shit out of the Pharah, basically, as the D.Va. It's kind of that simple. Obviously, if it's pharmacy, you have to focus the Mercy first, because you can't kill Pharah through the Mercy healing her. But it really is just like, you fly up in her face, you punch her, you shoot at her, you fly up onto nearby ledges, you shoot up at her, and you don't stop harassing her at any point, basically. You just make her life really difficult. She can't kill you. It takes Pharah much, much too long to kill a D.Va, even with a Mercy there to help her out, and if she is gonna kill you, you can always just leave, because you can just shift away. So you do just keep harassing her and making her life as difficult as possible, and you just don't let her have free reign. And then there's also the fact that, like, Barrage is not a very good ultimate in general, and you just kind of make sure that she doesn't get to use it at all, as long as you're keeping an eye on her. But it's kind of just that simple, that you just, like, focus on that Pharah. You have to be careful you don't kill yourself on the Pharah's team, because you're, like, tunnel visioning on her, but you do just keep harassing the Pharah, basically. So, anyway, though, this game, we've got currently Roadhog, Lucio, Winston, Soldier, Zenyatta, Tracer. So we've got almost a dive comp. It doesn't quite jump the final hurdle because we don't have a Zarya or a D.Va, and we've got a Soldier instead of, like, a Pharah or a Genji. But, you know, it's a very King of the Hill team, all the same. So, let's start out. We're on University to begin with, and we're all gonna go up on the left-hand side together to begin with and try and take control of the high ground. Not the best high ground in the game on University, but it's still something. Here comes their D.Va. We missed the D.Va, which feels bad, man. We should just keep going after her right there, but we're probably afraid of getting bumped off the edge, which is fair enough. Speaking of getting bumped off the edge, Far's just bumped two people off the edge behind us, which feels bad. We've managed to kill their Reaper. However, we have lost our Soldier and our Zenyatta, so we've lost a lot of damage right there. We basically now only have us and Tracer that can deal damage. So, we're not looking too good for the fight overall. We look down there, we see some kind of scary things to just jump onto. We don't want to jump onto the point right now, because it's probably not going to work out super well. And it isn't going to work out super well. We should either back out and wait for our team to regroup, or we could just hang out on the high ground and try and pick somebody off, like Lucio's kind of just dancing around like a monkey. We could try and hook her, over there, just sort of focus down the shield. We don't want to jump onto the point, seeing as right now we're missing most of the damage on our team. And we're playing Roadhog, so we're not super great at jumping onto the point by ourselves. By the way, this is pre-patch, so Roadhog is unnerfed right here. I don't think it changes his gameplay super much. Like, it just means he's less independent and relies more on his team, and he's, like, less consistent. But I don't think his basic playstyle has really changed that much, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, we don't want to jump straight onto the point as we do here. Winston's coming up around the backhand side as well, and now they're going to turn their attention onto him, as you generally do. So, we back out a little bit now. Winston's gonna die because he's in there basically fighting the entire team by himself, which is not great news. And now, we're missing our main tank, because Roadhog isn't really a main tank, you know. Lucio also kind of asking to kill himself over there. We missed our hook again, pretty optimistic, seeing as there was a barrier nearby when we threw it out, but whatever. We have just killed their Pharah, which is pretty great news. We have to keep an eye on the Reaper over here. We've hooked the D.Va, that's fair enough, but we do have to just note that Reaper has disappeared into this room. So now we have to be ready for him to pop out in the room next to us and try to kill us. And we obviously don't want that to happen. We also have to be careful because we've just used our hook on this D.Va as well. So if he pops out on us right now, we're going to probably be pretty sad about it. So, but we're hooking the D.Va. We've broken the D.Va's mech. That's great. There's Reaper on the side of us. We haven't noticed that he's here just yet. We are going to follow this Reaper into this room. And we start reloading while we do it, even though we have 3 shells left, so we don't need to reload to begin with. But don't follow the Reaper into this room while your hook is on cooldown and you're reloading. Even though you don't need to be reloading, like, just don't be reloading. But in general, just don't follow this Reaper into the room. You can play it cool and just, like, hang out outside, keep an eye on him to see if he disappears downstairs or not, and then come in when you're a little bit more well-equipped to fight the guy, because you just sort of walk into this enclosed location with him. He doesn't do anything, so that's great and all, but, like, that's really scary, and I thought you were probably gonna die when you walked through that doorway when I first saw it. So we don't quite kill him, that sucks. Over here we've got Narissa and D.Va. We've managed to kill the D.Va as soon as the shield broke, which is great. We're gonna focus this Lucio. He started ulting and we hooked him out of the air, which is great news. So we now know he has it, but Mercy missed him, which is also great news. So we don't have to be super concerned about the Orisa, but this is now happening right next to us, and there's kind of nothing we can do about it. Cause we didn't have our hook up, basically, so we were kind of fucked. And we were in, like, an awkward range where we wouldn't have been able to, like, one-shot her with either of our shots anyway, so feels bad, man. Fight's still going well in our absence, we can see. We just noticed that Orisa used her ultimate and lost it. They're all getting killed pretty quickly, everything's going well. We've almost got Whole Hog, which, I mean, is great and all, but Whole Hog's a pretty bad ultimate, so we're not really concerned about it. It's not an ultimate you think about actively using, right? It's just kind of the one that you're like, well, I have it, you know, if I need it. So, now we've got control of the point, we get to just kind of hang out. We've noted Reapers coming up on the left-hand side. They now have a Zarya as well, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult for us. Here's Reaper. So Zenyatta's using his ultimate, so that stops Reaper from doing anything. Reaper's now sad, and he's gonna hop away in sadness. But we pull him back in, and we didn't kill him. This is pre-nerf, so that's unfortunate. Nowadays, hooking Reaper is probably actively trying to kill yourself, because there's, like, no way you'll kill the Reaper anymore. So, it's really awkward, where it was like Roadhog was, like, an objectively better Reaper. I think Reaper might be an objectively better Roadhog at this point, after Reaper got buffed and Roadhog just got nerfed. But anyway, the patch happened like 2 days ago, so it's probably a little early to say that. So up in the kill feed, we do note that they lost their Mercy and their Orisa, but we hooked in the Reaper, Reaper killed us, feels bad, man. They are mostly dead still, so it's not the end of the world. There's this Pharah who's not really doing very much, and now she's dead. So, fight went well, even though we died. Great, we didn't use our ultimate. We've also got Tac Visor and Pulse Bomb built up, which is good. And we've still got control of the point, so now we get to just try and get control. We get to stand up here, try and, we're very concerned about being flanked over on that side, which is fair enough, seeing as they do have a Reaper and all. But we could be standing, like, a little bit more, you know, around this area. Just, like, keep an eye over there for being flanked, and then try and, like, make sure you still have a presence up near the front line still. Because we're playing really far back right now, as well, when we could be playing more forward. So, we're trying to get them up there. That's, like, really hard. Honestly, I'd rather just be trying to break the barrier, because Roadhog is really, really good at breaking barriers. He might be better at breaking barriers now, since he fires faster and has more shots per clip, so he might be better at breaking barriers now, but regardless, you still want to be focusing the barrier. I'd rather be doing that than trying to get the Pharah and the Mercy, who we're kind of not really equipped to deal with. Unless we're in a certain specific circumstance. So they're starting to come in right now. Well, they're trying to anyway, but their team isn't great at coming in, so it's kind of hard for them. Pop out, hooked Lucio. Lucio's dead. Fuck, here's Reaper. What I would have done right there. You said it's not what you meant to do, which is fair enough. I would have just took a breather, had turned my back on him, and then when I'm mostly done with the take a breather, I just turn around and start ulting him. Then, if I'm still have enough HP, it's I mean, we hooked and killed the support, which is great, but it's unfortunate that, like, Reaper was right there as well. We would have rather hooked the Reaper, seeing as he's the one that kills us. So, we've got to regroup now, we're waiting for our team. We still have Tac Visor and Transcendence, so we've still got, like, the 2 best ultimates on our team. Debatably, I think you could debate between Pulse Bomb. So, we're starting to come back now, we're regrouped. Orisa's there, we're just trying to break the barrier. There's Reaper, that's spooky, missed the Mercy. I know I probably wouldn't have even tried to hook the Mercy, seeing as she was like half in and half out of the door frame anyway, so it's a little bit optimistic that you were gonna hook her. So we backed up to reload. We managed to just like get a shot into the Orisa and her giant head, so she's now dead. We have lost our Lucio, so we've lost our main healer as we're coming in, which is not great. Lots of ultimates currently happening. Hook was on cooldown, couldn't kill her. In the Graviton, feels bad, man. Don't think there's really much you can do about that one. They just use like 4 ultimates, so you kind of expect to die in that situation. Should have changed to somebody faster than Roadhog, seeing as right now we just want to try and get over there and touch the point. So we're coming over now, we're just barely gonna get back, but like, going to the moon, break the bongo, like we're pretty fucked. We all know we're pretty fucked. We managed to kill the Lucio by whipping him with the hook, which always feels good. Things are not exactly looking good right now, take a breather. Trying to kill the Mercy, oh god. Should be trying to kill the Reaper above all else right now, seeing as he's kind of the only thing here that's really scary. If you just, like, I know you're trying to focus the Mercy right there, but, like, if you focus, fucking Tracer over here is, like, really distracting me with his complaining. If you focus the Reaper, he's kind of the only one there that kills you, so if you focus him instead of the Mercy and kill him instead, you should really be able to clean up the fight anyway, because Orisa's just, like, easy to kill. And then, like, no one else can really kill you out of their team, aside from those two. So if you kill Reaper and then start focusing the supports or the Orisa, maybe it goes better. But, like, you generally want to focus Reaper the most. Well, I say that, but, like, now Roadhog is much worse at killing Reaper, so that's probably not true anymore. The change only just happened, so I'm not too certain on that one yet. Take it with a grain of salt. It's funny because there's salt on the screen. So we're playing D.Va now, which is fair enough. D.Va's better, I think, for the team overall, and versus their team comp as well. She of course does super counter Reaper, as well as D.Va, so it's all good. Here's Pharah, so we do just want to be focusing the Pharah and harassing her as much as possible. We kind of give up on it there, because we're pretty low HP, and we're going to be jumping into their entire team, which is fair enough. We should just be backing out to make sure we get healed up, instead of, like, sitting up here. We've got Zarya coming at us right now. Zarya is really hard for us to kill. We're backing out now to try and get some health. We should have been playing it, like, a little bit cooler. We were kind of just standing around at half HP. We should have backed up to heal up a little bit more first. So, here's Reaper. We're trying to keep the soldier alive, but it's not looking good for him. We could just, like, go in. We should probably just go in on that Orisa immediately instead of, like... Looks kind of like we're not sure what we're gonna do because we're supposed to do, because a lot's happening. Everybody over there is kind of like deathballing together on the other side of the point, so it's probably better to just dive on this Orisa immediately instead of hesitating, because, like, you can still kill an Orisa pretty quickly as D.Va. Dual auto shotguns and Orisa's gigantic head model. And she's mostly by herself over here as well. We can of course see now Mercy's tether coming through the doorway. But rather than just sort of like going, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, should have probably just dove on her immediately. Over there is a little bit too scary to just go into. So things are not really going well right now anyway, so overall the better play was actually probably just leave, seeing as half of our team was dead anyway. We lost our Tracer, like, immediately, which is obviously not great. Honestly, just walk into traffic right here, because you're gonna die. And if you just throw yourself in right there and die to the traffic, you don't give her the extra bit of ult charge, but that probably doesn't matter overly so. But if you're gonna die, you generally just want to die faster. Very indecisive about what we were trying to do right there, and, you know, there are a lot of people on their team we want to focus, because we want to focus the Reaper, we also want to focus the Pharah. Right now, Pharah's up there, just, like, float up onto the high ground and start shooting at them. We are kind of, like, low HP right now, but in this kind of position, we want to just, like, get up there and start harassing her, and again, she can't kill us quickly, even with the Mercy there to help her. This is not great. We don't want to just, like, float around. We want to get, like, she's in pretty good position where if we just land up on the high ground, we can just start harassing her with the guns. And then if we're feeling threatened, we can of course just leave again, because the thrusters have a really short cooldown. And we've got defense matrix, which is really good. But like we do, in this kind of position where Pharah and Mercy are kind of up on this high ground, or if it's just like Pharah, you know, same thing. We kind of just want to get up there and harass the shit out of her from the high ground, and then we just leave if we're feeling threatened. And, that's basically the gist of how you counter Pharah as D.Va. You get on the closest high ground possible, start harassing her. So she's using a barrage over here. Her and Soldier have killed each other, which is, you know, fine. Either way, we're pretty equal. So we kind of wanted to go in. Our team didn't really get the memo, and they were still back here playing pretty cautiously still. We are just, like, getting drilled right now. You gotta get out of the way, because we just, like, gave them a bunch of ult charge and our mech for 3. Like, we're just kind of standing there shooting at nothing. Our Mercy is, like, yelling in our ear to just walk in. We can't really just walk at them right there, because we don't have our mech. We shouldn't have lost our mech, but we didn't have our mech. And we were missing Soldier as well, which does mean we are missing a lot of our DPS, because if you look at our team, who's really going to do damage except for Soldier, right? Like, yeah, Tracer's a DPS, but, like, she's not exactly a consistent DPS, so we can't really fight without Soldier, because he is, like, our entire... Shut the fuck up, Tracer! Okay. So, we're coming back up now. We've got self-destruct mostly built up, which is great news. Pharah's kind of floating around in the top of the doorway. Our team is here now, so we're starting to go in. We're going up to try and harass the Pharah. We do, like, want to land on the high ground rather than just landing on the point, because now we're, like, right next to their entire team. None of their team have actually noticed that we're here, which is fantastic news, but we should have tried to land up on the high ground instead. So the bongo's right there. We have somehow just, like, snuck up on the bongo, and no one seemed to notice that we were here and tried to stop us. So that's great. However, in the kill feed, we've lost both of our supports. So we have to leave right now, or try to anyway, because if you've lost both your supports, you're gonna lose the fight. It's just, like, how it goes. Barring exceptional circumstances. Exceptional circumstances are not currently happening. So we do just want to leave. It kind of... I think... Are you clicking for every bullet that came out of that? Because you can just hold it down for D.Va and, like, shoot mad fast out of the pistol. It just looked kind of slow. So Mercy's gotten back around. She's rezzed us, which, I mean... Excuse me, I'm dying. Which, I mean, fair enough, but, like... She only rezzed us, so it's not exactly the greatest play in the world. Wouldn't do this right now, because the best thing about your self-destruct currently is that you can use it to get another 600 HP. So I would hold that until your mech breaks, because self-destruct is a bad ultimate anyway, especially on this map, where it's so easy to get out of line of sight. So I would hold on to it just as a 600 HP heal, because it's more important that you're in mech on the point stalling it out, rather than using the pretty bad ultimate. Because now we used it, our mech is just immediately getting broken again, which is not great. And see, we could just use it for like a 600 HP heal right now, and then stall out the point for even longer, which is kind of the more important thing right now. But yeah, we're pretty fucked. I'm sure you can see that we're pretty fucked. We're pretty fucked. It's not really going very well.
I don't even play healer usually.
There's a lot of complaining happening from the duo over there, who have silver borders but apparently can't get themselves out of gold, which is, you know...
Perfect against, like, Reaper, Zarya bullshit. Orisa. Yo,
I
Aether.
just feel like we have a soldier and Tracer. I don't want to step on the toes or anything.
No, triple deeps is cool, bro. Don't try to play a role you're not comfortable with just to make the right build.
I mean, he's right. It's generally better that you're playing somebody you know how to play, than anything else, because if you don't know how to play it, you probably can't actually leverage why it's good anyway, so it's kind of just better that you're playing something you can play. So, anyway, we're playing Reinhardt now. I wouldn't change to Reinhardt. I think Reinhardt's pretty bad against their team comp, so I don't think this is a very good switch. I would have stuck on D.Va, because I think D.Va's like the best tank I think you could pick in this situation. Maybe Zarya, but I think D.Va better overall. So we have lost our soldier immediately, which is a promising start, of course. And again, we've lost like our main DPS, which is just terrible news. I'm covering up things on the screen. Hold on, there we go. So we don't want to really, like, be here anymore. Our shield is super close to breaking. We are not going to get to walk in on this point because we're missing too many people right now. Tracer's trying to tell us to go in. I don't think that's really the time to go in. Like, I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's pretty fucking sketchy right there. We have managed to get in all the same, which, I mean, shows me. But I just, like, look at that situation and I'm like, I think we should be backing out to wait. In most cases.
Reaper's behind us.
So we are running after them, swinging at them. We kind of gave up, right? I think we could have gone a little harder to try and get that Mercy. There wasn't too much there that could really stop us. And if we have, like, we could charge away from those people, right? Like, we could try and get the Mercy. If we can get the Mercy, great. If we can't get the Mercy, you can still just charge away. It's only Orisa and Zarya. They're not going to kill you super fast. So I think you could have gone a little harder to try and get that Mercy right there, because I think you could have killed her and gotten away with it. So this is here right now. Could have just kept swinging into her, but we were trying to block damage for the soldier as well, which is also not the wrong decision. So, you know, either way, basically. So Reaper's over on the right-hand side, apparently. Yep, there's Reaper. We've managed to kill their Lucio, basically by accident. He kind of just threw himself onto our hammer. So Zarya is right here. Zarya's not getting too much done. Reaper's dead right now. Everything went pretty good. I don't think there's anything we could have done much better there, other than maybe go harder on the Mercy at the beginning. Otherwise, I think we did fine. It's going a lot better than expected, considering Reinhardt is not that great against their team comp. We've got Earthshatter built up now, which is great news. Earthshatter, one of the best ults in the game. You could argue it's the best ult in the game. They did nerf it slightly, and like, they did something to Reinhardt where, like, his hit collision on Earthshatter and his hammer have gotten super weird. So it's like, you know, it's not very consistent anymore in my experience. It kind of is, like, as I had always expected, where, like, if you nerf Reinhardt ever so slightly, he just kind of becomes unusable, because, like, he got nerfed ever so slightly, and we've noticed a very sudden drop in Reinhardt pick rate and performance. There was an article I was reading the other day that I'll try and find the link for, but the gist was that Reinhardt and Soldier have seen, like, a very drastic drop in their pick rate across all SRs, basically. Like, I think it totaled out to be about 20% that they had both dropped. And part of it is that they both got nerfed very recently, and right now, dive comps are pretty in the meta, both of which they're not great against, and they just got nerfed at the same time, so things are not really going very well for Soldier and Reinhardt. And the thing is with Soldier as well, if Reinhardt becomes worse, Soldier becomes worse by extension, because Soldier just kind of likes to, like, sit and have a big front line in front of him. He doesn't like when people are diving past them and diving on him, and he just got nerfed. You know, it's not great for them, suddenly, anymore. Reaper's probably real good, though. I've been waiting for this change for so long. Finally, I can play Reaper again. Anyway, though, big tangent. So now, this game still. So we've got Earthshatter built up, that's great. Far as using Barrage right there, I would have probably Earthshattered just seeing those two people, honestly. We get a little bit carried away there trying to stop the Mercy from using her, res. It's kind of spooky to do that. If you think the Mercy's gonna res, rather than trying to Earthshatter to stop the res, just wait for them to get rezzed and then Earthshatter them all when they get back up again, and then you can kill them all after they get rezzed. Because when you try to stop her rezzing, there's the risk that that exact thing happens, basically. So, we've got Reaper behind us right now. We don't want Reaper to be killing people, that's understandable. We kind of bumped him into a more awkward location, and then he starts ulting, and there's not too much we can do about that. That's also why D.Va's better against, D.Va's pretty good against Reaper. So we've been rezzed, we get to start fighting again. Bongo right there, Bongo broken. That's a very bad Tracer ultimate. There's a lot of things happening right now, and honestly, there's no good option for us. Probably just start swinging sooner, but, like, that's the kind of position when you're playing Reinhardt where you're like, well, every option is kind of a losing option. You stand there trying to block damage, you won't block it, you're gonna die eventually. You start swinging, you're just gonna die faster. You know, there's not really a good play in that kind of situation. So we're waiting for our team to regroup right now. We've built up most of an Earth Shatter again. We get kind of baited into using our Earth Shatter, not great by our team, but we'll see that when it comes up. You know, Tracer mostly, you know. Not too fond of our Tracer player. So we're coming in now, we're just trying to walk our way in. Blocking damage, soldiers coming in. We've got Lucio right there. Somebody's just called out the Reaper is behind us. Reaper has in fact just killed our support and our soldier, and now he's killed us as well. So Reaper is just like really getting to do whatever the fuck he wants, basically. Reaper just walked by one and killed everybody right there. This is again why D.Va is better than Reinhardt here as well, because D.Va gets to just stop. D.Va just stops Reaper from having fun, basically. So now we've got Earth Shatter built up. We've managed to randomly kill Reaper, which is great news. Now we want to get the Mercy. We ult, and it's, you know, we aim it poorly, but you also didn't need to use it in general right there. It's only the two supports. So I don't think I would have used it there in general, but we also missed it, which of course feels bad as well. So we've got this happening over here. Lucio has managed to kill himself, it looks like. Oh god, the echo. Oh god. So we managed to get control of the point again, which is great news and a lot better. Everything went a lot better than expected right there, frankly. So now we're just going to sit back. We could stand more forward, try and get more of a forward presence right here, like this is fine. We do have to keep an eye out for Reaper behind us because he has been doing a lot of flanking action this game. We could have started going in on that Zarya a lot sooner, honestly, because she does, like, back herself into this corner, and there's, like, nobody here. You could try and pin her, but it's a little bit iffy on if you'd actually hit her with it. But we could have tried to go in on her a little sooner and a little harder than that. So that's happening over there, which is obviously bad news. We try to get the Reaper, but Reaper's dead before we arrive anyway. Lots of things. We gotta be blocking in all directions right now, which is obviously not the position Reinhardt wants to be in. Probably just go in and start swinging sooner, honestly, rather than trying to block all this damage that's coming from a bunch of awkward locations. So we're standing on Orissa's head right now, riding her like a pony. We're gonna break the bongo. Bongo now broken. We have Earth Shatter built up. They're getting rezzed over there. Tried to pin Lucio. Goes a lot better than expected. I wouldn't try to pin in that position because he's, like, really awkward to pin from that angle. But we managed to get the Mercy, so it all works out. We've got Earth Shatter, but we haven't really seen a great opportunity to use it yet because, like, all this barrier action, basically. I would probably just ult the Reaper. Like, even just by himself, because here's my thinking, right? We can't do anything about Pharah anyway. Like, we're basically never going to be in a position where we get to ult Pharah. Reaper is like probably by far their best player. I think if you just ult Reaper and kill him, maybe you win the fight anyway, because then the only other thing that's scary is Pharah. We can't do anything about Pharah anyway. Like, a Lucio jumping around is whatever. Orisa is pretty also whatever, considering the state the fight's in. So I think the best play is probably just ult Reaper, and just make sure he doesn't get to try and swing the fight around, basically. So, we try to hold out for more, though. We're gonna get baited into using it by our team, because he's gonna push tab and be like, Ryan, use your ult. Wasn't actually the Tracer, it was the Tracer's duo. All we end up getting is the, Zarya, and we get booped out of the way, so we don't actually get to do anything anyway. Like, I think if you just ult Reaper a lot sooner than this, like, if you look at the way this fight goes, and I mean, yeah, this is kind of hindsight 2020, because we're basing it off how the fight goes as well. But I think if you just ult the Reaper, you maybe win that fight. Like, probably not, but I think you have a better chance trying to ult the Reaper than anything else, really. Because it was gonna be hard to get a better Earth Shatter, and Reaper is, like, the best thing on their team, basically. So, but we don't get back to touch the point in time. Real awkward. A lot of awkward situations for Reinhardt. I would have just stuck with D.Va. I think she would have been better in most of those situations. So let's watch the play of the game. It's when the Pharah bumps 2 people off at the start. Let's, like, just mute that now, because it's just, complaining, basically. So there they go. Feels bad, man. Reaper's probably feeling pretty stiff, considering he ran through and killed, like, our entire team without even ulting at one point, but environmental kills are pretty highly favored. That's a lot of objective time right there. So, this game, like, a lot of things went really badly. I don't think there's a way you win this game, like, by yourself, because it seems like too many things are going wrong, basically. Because the DPS didn't seem exactly great. We got flanked a lot by Reinhardt. The best thing we could do is, like, stick with D.Va and try to focus the Reaper a lot more heavily, because Reaper seemed to, like, really be the thing that was fucking us. But of course, if we're focusing the Reaper, then we have to hope our team still kills Pharah anyway, so, like, you know, because we want to focus her as well. But Reaper seemed to be, like, the thing that really lost us the game. But it was a game where a lot of things were going very poorly. So, the thing that sticks out the most is kind of like, team comp-wise, like, that's kind of an awkward way to phrase it. Hero selection is what I'll say. Because, basically I would have changed to D.Va during the first round, probably. Because D.Va just, like, counters Reaper and Pharah. And both of which were being a bit of an issue for us, and she's still good against, Orisa as well as naturally supports. So the only person she's, like, bad against is Zarya, but even, that's not, like, a shutout thing, right? Like, if she's got no charge, you'll still kill the Zarya, and you can try to eat her ultimate as well. So I would have changed to, like, D.Va in the first round, basically, and stuck with her the entire game, unless they change, and, like, super counter D.Va. But it's kind of hard to counter D.Va as well, honestly. Like, there are not that many hard counters to D.Va in the game right now. Especially since Roadhog just got nerfed as well. He was one of the more consistent people to kill D.Va, or break her mech anyway. So hero selection is what I'll say. And then, like, prioritization, it seems like we're kind of lost. We don't really know what we're trying to do exactly a lot of the time. When really what we should have been trying to do is basically focus the shit out of the Reaper. And, like, the Pharah as well, but mostly the Reaper, because he seemed to really be the thing that was breaking our team, basically. So that's mostly what stands out to me in this game. Thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.